One criticism I've heard about this game is that people think that it's too easy after a while. Like, you get so overpowered that everything becomes a pushover, right? There's nothing you can't do. All of a sudden, Aiden becomes like Superman or Batman or something. It's like, well, and that just adds to the boredom of the experience. And to that, I would say it's a possibility that you may not be able to you may not be playing this game correctly. If you notice with Aiden's gear, he's got tank, he's got brawler, he's got ranger, he's got medic. You could put this gear on him, and then he becomes more proficient in things pertaining to a brawler or a tank or a ranger or more like a medic class, right? So that's one of the many choices that you can make to kind of create a little bit of a different experience. The same goes for territories. With the territories, you can make choices about what factions you're giving these territories to. In this playthrough, I'm just going with the peacekeepers, right? My other playthrough, I gave most of this territory away to the survivors, except for this region and this region I gave to the peacekeepers. So my other map is mostly survivors, with these two territories given up to the peacekeepers. Now, why would I do that? I did that because in my mind, it's very close to the renegade territory, and who better to deal with the renegades than the peacekeepers, right? So you could say in that respect, I should have gave these two territories to the peacekeepers and gave all this to the survivors, which would be a fair argument. But, I thought that this was viable real estate for the survivors to cultivate and grow their crops and stuff. So I took a chance considering how vulnerable they are right here. But anyway, that's how my mind is thinking, right, when I'm playing this game. So that's a personal choice. And I think a lot of arguments about how difficult this game is depends on personal choices. If you decide to go after every single inhibitor and apply it to your Aiden character and make him incredibly, make him so immune to the dark it's not even funny, and make his stamina ridiculously long, and make his health bar ridiculously long, then he's gonna be damn near unstoppable. Or you could sit down and ask yourself, what kind of Aiden do I want to play? And make personal choices. Say, I never go for all the inhibitors. I only go for the inhibitors that give me just enough stamina or just enough health to do what I need to do. Although I could unlock the entire tree of skills for Aiden, I'm only going to focus on those that I feel he should be proficient at for my particular playstyle. Does that make sense? Like, if you're going to roleplay, you have to make a conscious decision about what your Aiden's good at, what he's not good at. Your equipment is another choice. You could choose to upgrade all of your lockpicks, and you could choose to upgrade your grappling hook to where you're just Spider-Manning your ass all the way through the city. Or you could opt to do something like I do. I never upgrade my grappling hook. I only use it when I absolutely have to. Now, my paraglider is always, I'll go ahead and upgrade that to the max. But again, I only use that when I absolutely have to. My Aiden is, he's not a combat master, but he's a force to be reckoned with. But because of how I restrain, I guess you'd say, I restrain some of his attributes, it forces me to play a little bit more on the calculating side. You know, I'm just not going to like just try to plow through a bunch of zombies. I try to be somewhat clever about how I approach certain situations depending on how I've made my Aiden. Now, if you were to just completely ignore personal choices on how you're going to create your Aiden character, and you just get every single inhibitor there ever is to get, and you get all the secret developer toys that are hidden throughout the city, that, you know, these magical weapons and crap like that, yes, you're gonna turn this game into, you know, as far as combat and parkouring, you're gonna make this game a joke, and it will be fun, but after a while, I imagine it would get boring because um, you made the decision to get everything there was to find in the game, and now your Aiden is unstoppable. There's no challenge left. But that's a personal choice. You could choose to make Aiden as powerful or as hindered as you want to make him. So the choices in this game do not always come down to what the game gives you. You also have to make personal choices about how you want to create your Aiden, because after all, this is a role-playing game. So I wouldn't say this game is easy and that all the enemies are a pushover per se. I would say that if you decide not to use your imagination when crafting your personal Aiden, then before you know it, he's going to be like this Superman character, and he's going to be unstoppable, and there's nothing that, there's going to be no challenge, except for maybe the parkour challenges. But, I mean, I personally don't choose to play that way. I want, you know, I want an experience where I have total choice. So I choose everything, right down to how many inhibitors Aiden takes. You could even choose not to give territories to the survivors or the peacekeepers. You could keep certain territories a lawless, neutral area. You know, you could choose not to intervene to that degree where you're just unlocking all the territories. It's not something you have to accomplish. So if you're a completionist, you're probably going to have an OP character before you know it. If you're more of a role player and you don't mind the fact that maybe you can't unlock a water tower here or a substation there because your Aiden is just not capable of doing that, then that's a whole other different game in my book. You know, when you're making the conscious decision to build an Aiden and stay within those rules that you've created for yourself, I think you'll get a whole different experience out of the game. That can be quite challenging at times. So that's something to think about as you're either finishing out this game, thinking about replaying the game, or you're playing it for the first time. It's not just about the decisions the game throws at you. It's also about personal decisions. You know, how do you want your Aiden to interact with this world? Do you want to make this feel more like a survival horror game, or do you want to feel like a superhero? But if you want to feel like a superhero, you can't complain about how hard the game is, because, you know, you chose to make your Aiden incredibly strong, and, you know, you're welcome to go back and restart the game and maybe take some of the points that I've done in this video and apply it to a new Aiden character and see if that creates a more challenging experience for you. Anyway, that's all I got for today. I'm going to get back to playing Dying Light 2 because I can. And you guys have a wonderful day.